Hey there, ladies. If you're over 45 and you have been wanting to quit smoking for your health, because it's expensive, because you're just plain sick of it, but you've been concerned for reasons like I've been smoking too long or it's too much of a friend, I want to take a few minutes of your time just to bust through 5 myths that most of my female clients over the age of 45 are confronted with when they try to stop smoking. And once these myths are out of your way, I really believe you'll have a completely different attitude and be ready and excited to become a non-smoker. My name is Rita Black. I am a clinical hypnotherapist, a smoking cessation specialist, and I am the creator of Smoke-Free 123. I am also a former pack and a half-a-day smoker, and I smoked for 4 years, so I completely understand being a smoker. I also want to invite you to take a seat in my free masterclass called How to Stop Smoking Without Withdrawal, Cravings, or Weight Gain. Now, let's just dive into these 5 myths, shall we? So, myth number 1. Dun, 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 dun. So, I have smoked too long. Now, I understand when you have been smoking, if you're over 45, chances are you've been smoking for 20 years, maybe even longer. If you're over 45, maybe you've been smoking 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. I've had clients who've smoked for 60 years, 65 years, so long time. And it feels like that is just like, how can I even stop smoking if I've been smoking for so long? Well, the crazy thing about the brain is the brain doesn't care how long you've been smoking for. It really is more about what you want for your future rather than what's happened to you in the past. But often when we try to quit smoking, we are bringing that limiting and negative belief system like, I have smoked too long, and then that gets in front of us and it becomes a real barrier. So when your mind is in the right place, you can stop smoking in an instant, but the challenge is you want to get ready by getting excited about becoming a non-smoker. Because once you really make that decision, like I'm sure there are many things that you have done for years, like lived in the same house, and then you had to make that decision that you were going to move from one house to another house. Maybe you downsized, or maybe you moved up in the world, or maybe you wanted to buy a new car. You had to make that decision. You had that car for so long, but then you had, something happened to it. You had to decide to buy a new car. And you had an attachment to that car, but you had to open up a new door in your mind and say, I'm moving forward. And really, our mind is really resilient. And once you put in front of it something that it gets excited about, it will do it. So it really does not matter. So, like I said, I've worked with clients 20, 30, 40, 50 years. When your mind is in the right place, you can stop in an instant. It doesn't matter how long you have smoked for. Okay, myth number 2. But I have failed too much. Like I have tried a million times and I have not ever been really successful in the long term. Totally get this one too. So let's talk about this. Often the main reason that we're trying to quit smoking is that we're trying and we're not really deciding from a powerful place within inside us. Often women over 45 will be told by their doctors, hey, look, you got to quit smoking. Come on, you're going to get COPD, you're going to get emphysema, or you might already have those early stages, or you might be concerned about cancer and your doctor wants, you maybe have hypertension or some sort of heart issue. And your doctor is just like, come on, you got to quit smoking. The part of your brain that smokes hears that, and guess what it wants to do? Smoke more, because it stresses you out, right? Or your children, or your grandchildren, or those people that live with you, or your apartment complex, or whatever. They might be saying, you got to stop smoking. You got to stop smoking. Everybody's saying, so we try, but we can't. And we fail not because you can't do it. We don't fail because you don't have willpower, but because the part of your mind that smokes, again, you need to make that decision for you. And once you're coming from your decision, not to make everybody else happy, not to make your doctor happy, but because you truly want to be free, you truly want to be healthy for yourself, then you can become a non-smoker. But you must do this for you. This is your journey, and just tell all those people that love you, hey, look, give me some space, and when I make the decision, I will do it. I know it's hard when people love you and they really want you to stop, and they feel powerless, but when it comes from you, you can do it. I cross my heart. Okay, next thing. It's my oldest friend or my oldest boyfriend or my companion, right? So for many people who smoke, their smoking is a long-term relationship. And the interesting thing about smoking, I don't know if you've seen some of my videos before, but I do talk about this a lot, that the part of our brain that smokes will put our cigarettes or our vaping, whatever we're doing, in the same part of our brain as our friends and our family. So it literally is housed in our brain in the same place as our friends and our family. Isn't that fascinating? So the challenge is that our brain does see our cigarettes as a companion. But the interesting thing is that you have had relationships in your past, like that you switched in an instant and your brain moved that that person from friend to foe, right? I'm sure you've had an experience in your life where you knew somebody and you thought they were friendly or you were buddies with them, and then something happened and you had a completely different idea of them. Well, I want you to start to think of your cigarettes as the bad boyfriend, right? Who, like maybe he was hot in the beginning and maybe you had some really good times together, but now it's getting to be like one of those relationships where he's a user and an abuser. He's abusing your body. He's abusing your sense of yourself, because what abusers do is they will slowly make you believe that you cannot live without them. And that's what cigarettes have done. They have made you think that you can't live without them, and therefore you've given a lot of your power to them. And, as a woman over 45, you're in a really amazing stage in your life because you're in the age of self-mastery. And that is one of the things that I say to my clients, is that it's so exciting when you become free of smoking, because you take back your power and it makes you feel so masterful about yourself and your life. So think of your cigarettes or your vape as the boyfriend who was really hot in the beginning. Look, you had some good times, and I'm not trying to take those memories away from you, okay? I have fond memories of smoking back in the day, but you certainly don't want them in your life now, robbing you of your health. That boyfriend who's abusive to your body, abusive to your sense of yourself, your confidence, and also coming and taking money from you every day, because, those cigarettes are expensive. He's robbing you of your financial future, which, think about it. Smoking, depending on where you live, can cost anywhere from $6 to $15 a day. And think if you put that money away in a savings account or an investment account, and that return on that investment, you could retire in style, or you could go on a nice trip, or you could put a down payment on the car. But, so that long-term relationship is costing you too much right now. And it's one of those relationships you want to just say, bye-bye, we're done here. Okay. Now, the next thing is I will gain weight, right? Well, that's a reasonable consideration. A lot of people are very, very concerned about weight gain. And if you're somebody who's used smoking, or at least in your mind you've used smoking as a weight management tool, you can be very concerned. You might be very concerned about gaining weight when you stop smoking. But here's the thing to know, if you're a lady getting over the ages of 45 and on, is that at the age that you're at right now, the negative ramifications of smoking start to compound. And once you're over the age of 50, smoking becomes so much more of a health barrier. One, just to be physically active. The impact it has on your lung health, the impact it has on your heart health. You can get away with smoking for a fairly long time. The body is pretty resilient, right? I remember smoking a pack of cigarettes and running a marathon the next day, like in my 20s, like we could do that. Even in our 30s, we can get, as we get in our 40s, because our hormones change and smoking impairs our hormones. Not only does it start to compound those health issues or start to exacerbate them or start to create them, but also, as far as your weight is concerned, it starts to work against you, because I've had many clients who said, I'm smoking the same amount and I'm gaining weight. It's like, because it impacts your hormones as well. And it also makes you less active the older you get. And this is the important thing, is your body mass is your muscles are get diminished as you get over the age of 45. So it's important for you now to get out there and move and work out and to be strong. And smoking keeps you from being strong, and therefore, in order to stay active and get active and keep your body healthy and i.e. manage your weight, it's now going to be important for you to become a non-smoker rather than continue to smoke and have that impact. And believe me, smoking is not a long-term permanent weight management tool. I've had many clients who were 70 who came to me who had like advanced COPD and advanced emphysema, and they could hardly breathe. But what they would say is like, I really wish that I hadn't worried so much about my weight. You know what I mean? So really, wherever you are right now, you can become a non-smoker and start to take back your health, start to move your body, start to get more physically active. And believe me, I was 40 pounds heavier than I am now when I smoked. And when I became a non-smoker, I lost 40 pounds because I got out there, I got active, I started eating better, I started really showing up for myself. And that's what I want for you too. So the last thing, oops, I'm going to do it this other way. You might feel like the damage is done. You might well, I've smoked so long and the damage is done. And certainly my clients over the age of 60 feel this way. So I definitely want to reinforce with you 3 important points, especially for you in this, age of illnesses that are like going around and like flu season. Right now we're in the middle of the pandemic. I don't know if you're watching this now, or hopefully it's at some point the pandemic is over and you're watching this and going, oh yeah, that pandemic, that was in the past. But now I want to cover with you 3 important health aspects that will absolutely improve within a week of your becoming a non-smoker, no matter how long you have smoked for. One is the cilia in your lungs, the little hairs that line your lungs. Actually, when we smoke, you may or may not know this, but they because the tar coats the cilia, it lays flat, and then that keeps the cilia from doing their job, which is to get out of the lungs, like to flush the lungs of the mucus and the toxins that are in the lungs. So this makes you, because the toxins are just kind of sitting there in the lungs, a lot more susceptible to infection. The other thing is neutrophil, which is the sort of white blood cell that are the first responders on the scene of infection. Neutrophil gets neutralized when we smoke. So it makes us a lot more susceptible to infection. And the last thing is it's called cotinine, which is a metabolite of nicotine. That is also a compound that makes your lungs a lot more susceptible to ARDS, which is acute respiratory distress syndrome. And so within a week, the cilia start to come back because the tar leaves your body. You start to cough and you get that out of your body, and now your lungs start to do the job that they're supposed to do. The neutrophil also starts to come back, and you become a lot more resilient to infection, and also ARDS. The risk of that also goes away because the cotinine that is in your system really dissipates very, very quickly as nicotine, actually, which is really within 48 hours. One thing about cotinine, just to know, if you are you do have people in your environment that you're smoking around. Secondhand smoke has cotinine in it. So even people who are getting your vapor or your smoke are also more susceptible to ARDS. So just a little tip there. I'm hoping you're just, smoking outside or taking care of, like just making sure that other people who are around you are not being made at risk as well. So there you go. I really believe, here's the thing, if you are a woman over 45, it is the best time to be a woman over 45. We are becoming more and more powerful. We have, there's so much of life that because you're older, you're wiser, you're capable of doing so much. And so my invitation to you is to take back your power from cigarettes so that you can even bring more of who you are to your life and to feel fantastic. I can't tell you, I had a client not long ago who was 80 years old who became a non-smoker, and it was like they've been reborn. They just keep telling me, oh my gosh, I have this whole new lease on life. Just because I believe in myself so much more. I never thought I could quit smoking, and now I'm a non-smoker. And I just can't thank you enough because I feel so good and I feel so like I have a whole new life ahead of me. So you can do it. I believe in you. Grab a seat in my masterclass, How to Stop Smoking Without Withdrawal, Cravings, or Weight Gain, or Vaping. Stop smoking or vaping without withdrawal, cravings, or weight gain. It's free. You'll get a lot more information that will give you that boost, that excitement, that belief in yourself that you can become a non-smoker. I believe you can, and I hope you have a fantastic day.